The Immaterium, the warp, the sea of souls, an endless, seething expanse of impossible energy and limitless madness. It is both the lifeblood of the galaxy and its greatest curse. But what exactly is the warp? What kind of nightmare exists just beyond the veil of the material universe? Today, we'll uncover the mystery of Warhammer 40,000's alternate dimension and explain why it's such a fundamental, chaotic, and terrifying force. First, we must understand that the warp is not a physical realm. It does not obey the natural laws of physics, time, or space as we understand them. Think of it as an alternate plane of existence, a mirror universe of raw psychic energy, where emotions, thoughts, and desires are not just abstract concepts but living, breathing forces. The warp is as much a reflection of our own minds as it is a dimension apart. Every fear, every hope, and every rage-soaked scream manifests in this plane, distorting it into a howling storm of turmoil. To look upon the warp with mortal eyes is to lose oneself entirely, doomed to insanity or death. In the simplest terms, the warp is a swirling ocean of energy, and at its surface, weak currents ripple with strange power. But beneath that dark surface lies the truth, a torrent of unimaginable danger. It is an ever-changing expanse, filled with storms, currents, and eddies shaped by the psychic imprint of every sentient being in the galaxy. It is, for lack of a better comparison, a boiling cauldron of emotion and magic, a chaotic reflection of the minds and souls of those who inhabit the material world. But the warp isn't just an ethereal abyss. It serves a significant purpose. It is the source of psychic power, the wellspring of sorcery, and the fuel for the incredible abilities wielded by Psykers. When a Psyker reaches into the warp, they take hold of that raw energy and channel it into the material world. This power can heal or destroy, create life or obliterate entire civilizations. But the cost of such power is steep. Every Psyker who touches the warp risks drawing the attention of the horrifying entities that lurk within. This brings us to another critical component of the warp: its inhabitants. While the Immaterium is shaped by the minds of mortals, it is also home to beings of pure energy, malicious and alien in ways that defy description. Chief among them are the Chaos Gods, entities formed by the overwhelming emotions and actions of countless souls across the ages. There are 4 such deities: Khorne, the god of blood and slaughter, embodying rage and violence; Tzeentch, the god of change and schemes, representing ambition and deceit; Nurgle, the god of decay and despair, born from fear and hopelessness; and Slaanesh, the god of excess and sensation, who thrives on indulgence and corruption. These gods are not just abstract symbols. They are living, thinking, manipulative beings, each scheming to dominate the warp and spread their influence into the material world. The Chaos Gods have created demonic legions, twisted manifestations of their will, to spread their corruption. These demons, born of raw warp energy, can only exist in the physical universe for short periods, usually through collapse in the warp's barrier or summoning by mortal worshippers. While the warp is undeniably the domain of chaos, it is not entirely defined by it. Not all warp entities are malevolent. There are peaceful beings known as the Eldar's Eldari gods, and ancient legends speak of mysterious, benevolent presences tied to the Immaterium. However, even these beings are rare and often no match for the overpowering terrors of chaos. The warp also serves as the foundation for faster-than-light travel in the Warhammer universe. Without it, the galaxy's vast distances would render space travel almost impossible. Massive ships, guided by powerful Psykers known as navigators, use the warp to travel great distances in a relatively short time. But this travel isn't safe. Ships risk becoming lost in the warp, or worse, pierced by invading demonic forces. Even the most fortified vessels must endure a voyage filled with risk, relying on psychic wards and prayer to survive. The dangers of the warp extend far beyond the battlefield. More than just a tool for travel or sorcery, its chaotic nature bleeds into the reality of the material world. Warp storms, massive upheavals of psychic energy, can erupt without warning, cutting off entire regions of space, destroying planets, or even tearing the fabric between dimensions, allowing demons and other horrors to spill through. In some cases, the warp has entirely consumed entire systems, swallowed by its infinite hunger. But perhaps the most terrifying aspect of the warp is its intimate relationship with sentient thought. It is not only shaped by emotions, it feeds on them. The more hatred, fear, and suffering in the galaxy, the stronger the warp becomes. And in a universe as dark and brutal as Warhammer 40,000, where war is eternal and despair is infinite, the warp grows ever more powerful. It thrives on this despair and magnifies it, creating a ceaseless cycle of destruction. For some, the warp is a pathway to power. For others, it is a gateway to damnation. The Imperium of man fears and despises it, suppressing Psykers where they can and offering them up to the God Emperor where they cannot. The Eldari, ancient and wise, know all too well the danger of the warp, for it was their pride that birthed the Chaos God Slanesh and cost them their empire. The Orcs, ever driven by instinct and violence, tap into its raw energy without even realizing what they're doing. And the Tyranids, the devourers of all life, quiet the warp in their wake, their soulless presence shutting its door as they consume all before them. So, what exactly is the warp? It is a mirror, a weapon, a curse, and a storm. It is the very essence of chaos itself, both a source of power and a harbinger of doom. To understand it is to stand at the edge of madness, for the warp is not something you can fight or conquer. It is the shadow of reality, forever entwined with the fabric of the galaxy. In the grim darkness of the far future, it is both the ultimate adversary and a vital part of existence itself. Thanks for watching Storytime. Like and subscribe.